So I installed this vinyl quick lock floor in our restroom here about a year ago, and over the winter I had a few gaps open up. Here's one right here. You can see a piece of lint in the joint there, and I don't really know why that happened, other than maybe that there's a heat register right there, and maybe just all the changes in heat cycle gradually caused this to push open. So I'm going to give a try at closing that gap, and what I've done is I bought a it's actually a stair tread, anti-slip stair tread, kind of a rubber material. Bought that at like a big box Lowe's or Home Depot or Menards or something like that. I'm going to set that right there. Cats are going to help me, of course. And I got an old chunk of 6x6 that I'm going to set right there. And then I'm going to stand on it like this, and then take a 2 or 3 pound machinist hammer and whack on it and hope that it closes that gap. But the first thing I'm going to do is take a vacuum and clean that gap very well. Now that particular run of plank runs on into the bedroom, and so it's running about 20 feet from that gap over to the wall. And when you go back the other way, it runs about, probably 8 or 10 feet over to that wall. So as I try to close up that gap, I would suspect that probably this one right here will open up, and then I'll need to jump back to that plank and try to move that one. So we'll try this and see what happens. So, don't know if this is going to work or not. Give it a try and see. Well, if it's closing up, it hasn't closed up very much. So we're going to try it this way and see what happens. Yes, it's closing. Almost got it. Success. And what's really interesting, get the camera loose here, is that this plank here that I thought would pop open really hasn't. So that pulled the entire 10-foot piece of vinyl tight. So I'm pretty happy with that. One tip on this is that when I was standing on this piece of 4x6, and at first I was trying to hit directly, basically a 90-degree force vector. So my force vector was parallel with the floor, and it wasn't moving very much. So I started swinging down more at a 45-degree angle. So if you're using a wood block, perhaps chamfer the end of it a little bit and cut a little bit of an angle there, strike there so that your force vector is down more at a 45-degree angle to the floor. And that started to move things. So I think that's a good way to do it. Doesn't cost a whole lot of money to tighten up gaps in the vinyl floor.